It's time to hear from the general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong, on your exclusive home of the Utah Mammoth, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Time to catch up with one of our favorites, Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, man.
Well, that was a tough one last night.
We were doing great on this 9-game non-loss streak.
On the heater, yeah.
The 9-game non-loss streak was as good as anything we've seen in the 2 years that Utah Hockey Club / Utah Mammoth have been here. That had to have been a fun ride.
It was a fun ride, and I'm a better human when we win. So the flowers are out. The mountains look great. The blue sky's a little bit bluer.
Food tastes a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all that. And it also, it's good to see your coaches and your players and the organization have that success that that's capable of, and it's we've had a little bit early on when we had the streak coming out, getting off to a real good start, and then obviously we had a hell of a home sit stand, and it's great for the group. Now we're in the trenches right now. We're battling right now. We're 500 on the road. We beat Nashville, and then when we lost a close one to Tampa, probably the best team that we've played in the National Hockey League, and it was a punch in the face competition. And I think there's some confidence to gain from that game. I think for us, it's you play at that pace against a team at that caliber, and you're hanging and you're giving it to them a little bit. It sends a good wave of confidence to your group.
Hey, Bill, I know he's not on your roster, but I am curious just because watching him is kind of poetry. Tell me what makes Andrei Vasilevsky so good.
Well, last night he put on a show. He knew where it was going before I think the guy that released it off his stick did. He was on top of his game. He's so big, he's so athletic, and he has a natural feel for the game. He doesn't give you much. He doesn't leave too many rebounds out there. He's pretty good, and I think there's different ways to play him. I think if we play him in a 7-game series, we'll figure him out. I think he got the best of us last night, but I do think there's room for us to improve, and hopefully we see those guys in the playoffs. But he is a dynamic goaltender, and he's a Vezina candidate this year, and he'd have a good chance to win it. So he's one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League.
So good.
I don't want to get on your bad side by asking this question, but because I know you're not like moral victory kind of guy, but you did allude to, like, you guys fought like crazy and you give up a couple of power play goals. Like, not every loss is created equal. The way you came out of that game, you still had to feel really good about your squad.
Well, you do, because just the pace, the speed of that game going back and forth against a well-coached team with Tampa Bay and some players that have won championships there before. It was just a battle back and forth, and we did a lot of good things. Keller had a nice breakaway at the end, couldn't bury it. We had some opportunities on the power play, couldn't bury it. We were right there. But it's also knocks us down a notch and gets us back focused on improving and getting better and knowing, hey, we're not the top dogs, but there's another ladder to climb. There's a higher level we need to get to when you play the big boys, and we're not there yet. But we've come a long way in 2 years, and we continue to strive to get better every single day. And that's the great thing about our team is when you look at us at the start of the year to where we are now, we continually improve. And we got a chance to get Logan Cooley, I think, back in our lineup for 5 games from now. So that'll be a big boost for our team too.
Okay, so I don't mind the NHL forcing me on a road trip down to Florida and Carolina. What I don't like is that the commissioner would say, I think we'll put Tampa and then Florida on the back end of a back-to-back. We'll have them go right over to the Panthers. And I got to tell you, Bill, when I'm not a huge fan of the Mammoth, I am a huge fan of the Panthers. They were my introduction into championship hockey with Sam Reinert and Marchand and Verhaeghe and the crew, Kachuk, everybody that makes that team so incredible. Kind of walk me through just how this ends up on a back end of a back-to-back, and what type of approach do you take tonight?
Well, you got to survive the first 20 minutes of the game, and you got to get your legs underneath you and get your game. And what they do is they just continuously dump the puck and pound you with their physicality. They got 4 lines. They're back healthy, which is awesome. I think the only guy they're missing is Barkov. And they're ready to rock and roll tonight. And they're looking forward to pounding us. There'll be no love lost tonight. It's going to be a battle. They got the Sam Bennett's of the world, the Reinhardts, like you said, and those guys are not only skilled, not only good players, but they're physical and they're competitive. This is going to be a battle. They know we've played the night before in Tampa. They're going to look to give it to us early. We got to make sure we hang in there, make sure we find our sea legs, survive the first 20.
Well, and Tkachuk finds his way back on the ice just before, 4 or 5 games before you get here. Has on film and his efforts just through the beginning parts of 2026, how does he look?
He looks good. I mean, he's preparing himself for the Olympics and another championship run in the Stanley Cup. So, he's somebody that he's their fuel. He kind of gets them going. He's not only skilled, he's probably one of the best players in the National Hockey League in the offensive zone below the goal line. He's a beast. And he's kind of like, aggravating. He's kind of like when your older brother wrestles with you and he just kind of gives you little punches. Like, he doesn't hurt you. Not enough to call dad from around the corner or leave a scar or a black eye, but just enough to aggravate you so you take a swing and then the next thing you know, you're in the box. And he's really good at it. He's the Michael Jordan of aggravating. How's that?
That's perfect. Yeah. I think it's perfectly said.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
So when you play a team like this and they know you want to play, they know they want to rough you up. Is this almost like a litmus test? You're like, all right, guys, let's see how you handle this. I got to imagine the former player in you are like, okay, this is what you got, a back end of a back-to-back, the most physical team in the NHL. Let's see how you guys handle this.
This is it. This is a great test for our group. You're coming off playing an elite team last night that hasn't lost in a while. They had a goaltender that won last night was 12 in a row for them. So now we're going into a team that's starting to get hot, starting to get better, starting to get their legs underneath them. And they got 4 lines coming at you, and they're physical, and there's going to be a packed house there tonight. And so it's going to be a great opportunity for us to test our toughness. And like I always said, it's not what you can give, it's what you can take. We're going to have to take a little bit in the first 20 minutes to get our legs underneath us and just kind of, we got Vanny going in net. So Veggie's resting tonight. So it'll be a battle. He's got to have a big game for us. And we got to find our sea legs. And, after the first 20, we'll be fine.
Any chance bad mood Bob takes a night off and you see Tarasov? And when do you get the report on who's in net?
Well, it turns out that we're a pretty good team these days. And they don't really we don't get anybody's backup anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that, but yeah, they don't come in and have a rookie party in your town and a big dinner and a few extra wines and throw the backup your way. They've caught on to us. So we usually get the big boys, unfortunately, it's certainly that way these days that, Tampa, they were ready for us and Florida will be well prepared tonight for us too, and we will get the big guy. Bob will be in net.
I love it.
So you probably, when you see the second stringer go in and some other guys not on the ice, you're like, wait a minute, they don't think we're very good right now.
That's usually the way I took it, anyways. But
whether they meant it or not.
Nowadays we're not sneaking up on anybody, gentlemen. They're ready for us.
So going back to that homestand, and you have another big homestand coming up here. You get 13 out of 14 points. Obviously, that's critical to the success of your team. But you've also set the bar. That's kind of what people going to the Delta Center are now expecting. How do you replicate what you did on that past, homestand to this upcoming one? Because you got some big games that are going to really affect the standings.
Yeah. But that's a great thing. I think last year we came in to Utah and Salt Lake and said, hey, we want to play meaningful games. We want to be in the hunt. I think it's kind of changed this year where, hey, we want to play meaningful games, but we want to win those games. And that pressure that we've had since game one is building now, and we're we've improved and we're in the hunt. So it's even better. There's no pressure, there's no diamonds, boys. that's the way it is. So you got to go through a little bit of pressure and expectations of what your team's capable. I think that's a good thing. And so when we show up to rinks, people know they're in for a battle when they play us. We're a good NHL team, and we got a chance to get in. So those are the expectations that people arrive with at the Delta Center. That's a good thing. They expect to see a good Mammoth team that's going to come out and beat anybody in the NHL on any given night.
I got to tell you, Bill, I think Sean Durzi is my spirit animal.
Oh, yes.
I think he's my spirit animal. And I played football the way he plays hockey. And
yeah.
So there's a video that went out on Sean, and it just shows his pure intensity. And it made me curious.
Mm-hmm.
I threw this question in to ask you, when you are standing or sitting in the penalty box, how much can you hear maybe the guy that you just threw fists with, or the guy that just high sticked, or whatever it is? How much can you hear, and how much do you jaw jack back and forth?
Well, you if you're a competitor, there's always going to be a couple words once in a while exchanged in between those boxes, and you can kind of get the gist of what they're saying, and they can understand you pretty good. More of your facial expressions, you pointing and that kind of stuff of what's going to happen next. So, no, it's, listen, the one thing about, players are always imperfect. They have good games, they have bad games and this and that. But the one thing that about Sean Durzi that's true, he's going to fight every night. He got fight in him. And that's why we love him, and that's why he drives our team, is that no matter what, whether it's going good or bad for you, he's showing up to go to war every single night.
Is that just what they build in Mississauga? Tell me a little bit about that, about that area.
Mississauga, yeah, not an easy one. That's just who he is inside. He's been like that since he's been a little kid, so. Whenever I saw him play when growing up, he always had a lot of fight in him. He'd lay down and block shots, do whatever it takes to win. And, he's always an incredible teammate. So we were fortunate to acquire him in a trade, and we've been blessed to have him. He's given us some fight and will tonight again.
I know that, you're cognizant of how many minutes guys are spending in the penalty box, and they may not come at the most opportune times. But I'm telling you, for a community that's learning hockey and learning to appreciate, that stuff resonates so well here in Utah with the blue collar fan base. It's like, hell yeah, go get it, go get it. Like I hope these guys know. Like obviously they're prideful in themselves and their team, but they're representing a community. And when fans see guys fight like that and they're wearing a Utah jersey, that means a lot. That means a lot to this group.
Yeah, and that's one thing we kind of learned when we came into Utah on that. I think it was almost like, okay, there's Salt Lake City, there's the surrounding community, but it was almost like the state of Utah took us in and embraced us. And it's such a simple jersey, but when you see the Utah across it, it's a special thing, and I think that's, I don't know, we've always had that fight in us. I think there's a pride in us about how much people appreciate us, but we also appreciate them back. And I think you see that in our team and how hard we play.
Bill, you're the best. We appreciate it as always. Have a good one, and we'll chat again next week.
Go get him tonight, Bill.
Yeah, you got it, boys. We'll kick some butt for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
There he is. Bill Armstrong. I want him to go in to that locker room and go, hey, I just talked to Hans and Scotty, and I said, go kick butt for them.
And Durzi, Hans said, watch your language.
Oh, dude, I wanted to buy 10 Durzi jerseys after watching that.
That was so good.
Like, I want my kid wearing that jersey.
He had literally lost complete connection with any surrounding or any reality. No. I feel like if there weren't 5 panes of plexiglass between him and the other box, he would have screamed right through him. Like he was that bad.
And the lip reading, just put that to the side. Don't worry about that.
I want to talk to Bettman. How do you do this?
I know.
Is it Bettman's who's the scheduling?
Well, I mean, it's the NHL office, so,
I don't mind making a Florida trip, but you're going to put me on back-to-back with Tampa and Florida?
Yeah.
So I'm going against the two most physical, the two most dominant goalies. I'm going against the two most physical teams. You're flying me all the way across the country, and you're asking me to do that in back-to-back nights. Thanks. Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
No, it's messed up for sure. And, and I go back to, we reference Jerry Sloan isms all the time on this show. And he used to say, the schedule maker is going to give you 20 wins, and the schedule maker is going to give you 20 losses. It's your season's going to depend on what you do in those 40 games. Guess what? The schedule maker gave Utah a loss tonight.
Yeah.
Now, I hope that's not the case, but, this is what a lot of people will call a schedule loss. And where it's like you're playing a good team, a great team, on the back end of a back-to-back, the likelihood of Utah winning this game is not very high. But you know what? You go in there, you fight, and you find a way to get it done. That can change a season around.
It can. Now,
not that their season needs to be changed, but,
Just so everybody understands where these two teams are, Tampa Bay is considered the second best team, in terms of points across the league. They're number 1 in points in the Eastern Conference, number 2 in points across the league. Colorado comes in number 1, just 9 points better. And Florida is just 1 point better than the Mammoth, playing in the Eastern Conference. But, as we mentioned, some of their big boys have gotten back. They've been playing without Kachuk. They've been playing out without a contingent or 2 or 3 of their bad boys on the ice. And Kachuk's been back, I think, 3 games, maybe 4, and he's got 3 points, I believe. So it's something like that. It's either 3 games or 3 points in 4 games or 4 points in 3 games. It's somewhere in that realm where he's jumped on the ice. He's already doing his thing. And he's been out all year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's been out all year. So he's just now getting back on the ice. So now you give him a few days of rest, but you also give him a few games to get ticked off enough to drop some hits. And Bad News Bob, I call him Bad Mood Bob. To me, he's the standard of everything net for the NHL. Again, he was my first true introductory of, okay, get by the ice, understand the game, understand what these goalies are trying to do. And he had that freakish spinning save
one of the
sticks.
Coolest things I've ever seen.
One of the coolest things. And I think that might have been second round of the playoffs, maybe even a game 7. It might have been a game 7 in one of the rounds of the playoffs. It was a big moment when he had that spinning stick save, and that's who you're going to throw on the ice.
And by the way, back to Kachuk, you know that coming off the injury, he's going to be just calm, collect, take it easy, doesn't want to re-injure himself.
Sure.
Yeah,
because that's how Matt Kachuk.
That's how those Kachuk
functions.
boys were raised. Yeah, just like, hey, let's just ease it in, back into playing. No, these guys are going to go to the wall and knock anybody's head loose that they possibly can.
And it's what I'm learning more and more about hockey. If you watch the Avalanche, they're like listening to beautiful poetry. It's like watching a duck just gracefully glide in the water. And you've got 80-point scores. You got 70-point, 80-point scores. You got the highest scoring skaters in the NHL. And then you look at the Panthers, and it's just like watching a Tasmanian devil on the Warner Brothers screen. They are a complete train wreck. They wreak havoc all over the ice. They take dudes in the glass. They take dudes down to the ice. They throw guys into the uprights. You come into the crease, and Bob is throwing his stick into your lower back and blowing you up across the shoulder. You mess with Bob, well, Kachuk's in your face. You mess with Kachuk, well, you definitely have Marchand, or you got Reinhardt that's right there to give you a glove in your mouth. And I just love the toughness concept. And it's won championships.
Yeah.
And so I look at it, I'm like, okay, I love the graceful speed. I love that about the Avalanche. I love the fact that they've got the finest skaters that ice has ever seen.
Yeah, it's like watching a symphony. I think you put it the right way. It's like watching,
perfect orchestration.
Yeah, yep.
But okay, you now picture a symphony playing this perfect melody, and then throwing a couple of injured rabbits into the mix of it that are screaming.
I was going to say you go to a Napalm Death concert.
Yes.
Go from the beautiful symphony to Napalm. That was the name of the band?
Napalm Death,
Napalm Death. And hearing like death metal.
Yeah. Opening Lamb of God.
There you go. Yeah.
And Napalm Death, the headliner. And it's like, for me, it's a fun style, and it's proven that it's championship worthy. And this is the way I look at the Mammoth right now. I look at the Mammoth as almost a pretty decent mix of the two. Now, not as good a skater as Avalanche, but when Logan Cooley's back.
5 games, by the way.
Yeah.
You hear that?
No.
He said he anticipates
5 more?
5 more games before Cooley's back on the ice.
But when Cooley's back on the ice, Cooley's just that beautiful fluid skater. There's 3 or 4 guys on the Mammoth ice that I would say are beautiful. Nothing like the Avalanche, but beautiful skate.
Yeah.
And then they've got 4 or 5 guys on the ice that are kind of Florida Panther mentality. So it almost feels like they're efforting a mix of chaos, but a little bit of grace. It's not Avalanche all grace, Florida all chaos. It's like a little bit of mix of both. And to me, I'm wondering, as I'm kind of watching the NHL and understanding how it functions, I wonder if a mix works or if you got to go all in on one or the other. Like the Golden State Warriors went all in on 3-point shooting.
Yes.
Bring in Clay Matthews. Green can rotate to the corner. Steph can hit from anywhere. They even had some bigs that would stretch, including Green, just to throw a very specific brand of basketball. They at no point were they going to say, let's fight.
Yeah.
Let's brawl.
Everything at the rim.
And then on the flip side of that, you can find certain NBA teams that were pretty nasty. I would say that the Nuggets run to a championship was quite a bit different than what Golden State's run was.
A lot more physicality.
A lot more physicality, and using Aaron Gordon as a physical presence and having a dominant big that could force Will down low. But you identified, okay, well, what are we? And you went that direction. Right now, I can't say if the Mammoth are extremely tough or extremely good skaters. I just say the Mammoth are kind of a unique mix of both. And let me see. Can it work? Can that extreme mix of both work? Because, okay, I'll take Oklahoma City Thunder, for example. Oklahoma City Thunder, maybe they are a little bit of a mix.
I think they are.
Where they've got a Chet Holmgren that's a bit of a mix-up. Now, he's long and slender, but he's a bit of a mix-up. And they've got a superstar that can hit from anywhere. But I think that they're a little bit more of a Lightning and Thunder than even Denver or Golden State on the Lightning side.
Probably a little closer to Denver than Golden State, but yeah, I'd say in the middle.
But in the middle.
Way. Yeah.
So maybe that can be the Mammoth, where they add a beautiful piece and somebody surfaces as the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Somebody all of a sudden becomes that, whether it's Cooley or Kelly or whoever it is that is the go-to, hand it off to him, take the reins, full ownership. Oh, and by the way, we've got this mix of greatness around him, and we've got an in-net presence. Like Veggie has to become like Bad Mood Bob. He's got to break through this ceiling and become the freak goalie that we need him to be. Because I think he's got the makings, but there's a different element to the greats in goaltending that I'm finding. And I know Veggie's big. I know he's aggressive. We've seen it. But there's this weird edge that the best goalies have that I've watched that I'm like, I want to see that from Veggie. Come out of the crease and just throw a stick on the lower back and leave a dude in a pile of skin and paint on the ice. And then have everybody say, oh, man, every time I skate anywhere close to that paint in front of Veggie, I'm asking for a deep bruise.
Yeah. I'm going to peel off this jersey, and I'm going to be just covered in bruises.
Yeah, some type of deep, horrible contusion. But I was talking about Vasilevsky, the Tampa Bay goalie with Bill. The reason I'm talking about him is because he leads the league in pretty much every tending category. And he's really, I'm trying to think of the best word. He's really, it's not temperamental. He just plays like he hates you.
Yeah. Yeah. He plays angry.
He plays angry. So
I love a tender that just has no regard. Like, how dare you be in my crease? How dare you be close to me?
So let's see. Vasilevsky, he's second in save percent. He is first in, let's see. Yeah, he's first in attempt to goal. And he is top 10 in attempt saves. So he's across the board. This guy is just owning.
Real deal.
He's owning the NHL.
All right, Hans and Scotty, we'll spin the wheel. A little sports roulette coming up next right here on The Zone.
The wheel is loaded, and it's time to talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette with Hans and Scotty on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Time for another edition of Sports Roulette. Take some of the big headlines, put it on a roulette wheel, we spin that little white ball. Lloyd will then tell us what we're going to talk about. Before we do that, though, let's hand out some more tickets. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday right here on The Zone.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, you know the drill, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. If you are caller number 12, you will win tickets to see the Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets coming up on Friday at Delta Center. Game starts at 7:30. If you unable to win tickets, go to UtahJazz.com. Get those tickets and enjoy some Jazz basketball. All right, Lloyd, fire up that wheel.
Everything's getting auctioned these days.
All right, so we just talked about the sweater vest of Mike Ditka now being the latest sale price is $82,000. That's the latest auction. 11 more days left if you want to buy the sweater vest worn by Mike Ditka for the entire 85 season, including the Super Bowl. That's right now the running price. Kurt Signetti is now auctioning off his headset that he wore in the national championship game for Indiana, with all that money going right into Indiana's NIL fund.
Okay. His headset.
His headset that
The
he
one
wore.
he won in the national,
Yes.
in the national championship game.
Take a gander on that one.
Okay, first and foremost, I would take a 4-inch section of Mike Ditka's bear sweater over that. Like if you cut a square inch section, I would take that.
Does it need to have some of the letters on it?
Yes.
Okay. All
Just
right.
a portion of the red stripe and a little bit of the white block lettering.
All right. By the way, the number is in line with what you're thinking.
My guess is that headset is going to go for somewhere around $1.8 million.
Current bid, $4,000.
Oh, okay. I thought some Indiana booster.
I would too. And by the way,
some billionaire was like, here's $1 million.
and I don't know how long it's been up for grabs and how long it will be up for grabs, but the current bid is only $4,000.
Oh, okay.
Makes you kind of proudful of your of
Yeah.
the Indiana Hoosiers. Like, I'm not buying that trash.
Yeah.
It's going to have that white, dandruff stuff that gets in those headphones. I don't want it.
I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, there you go. That's better than I thought. But I thought for sure some booster would be like, well, I'm going to give $1.2 million to the team anyway. I might as well have the headset.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Then you can, you could probably write it off both ways, but still. All right. Lloyd, spin it.
Taking his talents to South Beach.
Well, it is now, it is cleared for Darian Mensah, the quarterback for Duke, who at the very last second entered the transfer portal after signing a 2-year, multi-million-dollar contract to stay with Duke. Mensah's like, no, I'm gonna go in the transfer portal. Duke said, no, you signed, and we are going to need that whole lot of money in that buyout. Well, some money must have exchanged hands because Mensa and Duke have now agreed to a settlement of their dispute, and now he will be on his way to go to the University of Miami and be the quarterback there. So I don't know how this settlement took place. I would be very fascinated to know exactly how much money had to go from either Mensa or his agents back to Duke to let him out of this contract and say, okay, yeah, we're good here. We'll settle this. But I'm sure there's a lot of NDAs and a lot of things involved. But Duke has come back off this and said, all right, you want to go? You can go.
I understand why there's a big fuss. Guy threw for 4,000 yards and 34 touchdowns.
Yeah.
For Duke. 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions.
Big number.
And he's just a sophomore. So I think he's probably a one and done. He's probably projected pretty high because he goes 6'3", 210. He's got the body, he's got the frame, he's got the arm, he's got everything.
Yeah.
And Miami's like,
we want that.
Everything we need. And Miami just got a taste of the good life. They just got a taste of success.
We want more of that.
We want more of that. Well, they just got it. You said there's no details to the exchange.
No details. Not exact. I'm sure Duke got their pound of flesh. They had to have for this thing to be settled as quickly. And it really felt like Duke was going to dig in their heels on this one. And then you get into discovery, and nobody wants that. And so somehow he was, and I got to imagine every contract's got a buyout of some kind.
Yeah.
And so there was probably a number there. Let's say, for example, $1 million. And they're like, all right, look, will you let him out if we give you 800? Yeah, fine. 800, let's go. You know, I'm just using
Whatever
round
the number
numbers.
is.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't understand the Duke-Miami situation, Duke found their way to the ACC championship game and ends up beating a number 17 ranked Virginia Cavalry. I'm remembering that right?
Yeah.
Ends up beating a number 17 ranked Virginia team. Miami doesn't even see the ACC championship game.
Nope.
They see Mensa go for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the championship game, and it's an easy acquisition for them. Miami did not see Duke in the regular season. So Miami never got to play or see Duke, but they did watch Mensa do his thing. And the whole reason Duke was able to make that run, they beat Clemson, they beat UNC, they beat Wake, they beat Syracuse and North Carolina State, who was a pretty good team, and got themselves to that championship game.
What a messed up situation that was.
Yeah, and Miami completely whiffs on it.
Yeah.
And finds a 10 spot,
but
finds himself in the championship game.
And that's the thing that's really disappointing about the whole thing is...
And knocked out 2 SEC
Yeah. I
contenders.
mean, they just wouldn't lose.
Was it Texas A&M and Oregon? Or those?
No, Indiana beat Oregon, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Texas A&M was one of them.
Yeah, Texas A&M was the first one. Ole Miss, you're right. Yeah. All right. Let's spin it, Lloyd.
Will he stay or will he go now?
Mike McCarthy, we talked about this very beginning of the show, looked just horrifically uncomfortable at his press conference earlier today, introduces the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But first question asked to Mike McCarthy, will you get Aaron Rodgers to come back for another year? And his response was, I will definitely do everything I can to get Aaron Rodgers to come back. Did the Steelers actually hire a coach based on keeping a 43-year-old washed-up quarterback? I can't imagine a proud franchise like the Steelers would stoop so low to be like, Aaron, what do you want? I want Mike McCarthy. Okay, we'll go get him. This is only the fourth.
Not a chance.
I can't imagine.
Not a chance.
This is only the 4th head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers since 1969. You have to go back to the 60s. You had Chuck Noll, who had it forever. Then you had Bill Cowher, who had it forever. And then Mike Tomlin forever. And now you're going to hand the reins on over to this schlub?
And he's trying to keep Aaron Rodgers.
In
in a time where we are watching Bo Nix run to the conference finals, Drake May
Yes.
run to the Super Bowl. We're watching these young, sprouting, these budding quarterbacks that get good development, blowing out these old dogs. And he's like, I think what I'm going to do is take a complainer. I'm going to take an old complainer that's
This weirdo.
on a bum wheel. If that's the Steelers' plan,
Going backfire.
Steelers fans will melt down.
They're already losing their mind over this hire. They're already beyond ticked off about this.
Wasn't it Mike McCarthy that went on the basketball court?
Knock it off.
Chided the officials,
I don't think it was even his kid. It was like his stepkid.
which, it's his kid.
Wow, you can hear Lloyd in the background.
That might have been me screaming through the old glass over at the old studios.
No, I think it was here.
No, it wasn't. That was a while
Was
ago.
it over?
That was over, over this across the street. Yeah, it's
All right.
just kid.
Not one of my finer moments. My bad. All right. Hans and Scotty. Take a break. Wrap this up next right here on The Zone.
After nearly 20 years of sports radio in Utah,
Thank you.
Hans Olsen is stepping away from the mic.
I think if I was swallowed by a whale, I would just start swinging and try to hit it in its dula umbilata.
What is my name, Ned?
Your name is Hans.
God, stupid.
Could you call me Hans, Ned?
You'd like me to call you handsome. Is that right?
Well, it's better than Hans.
If I ever find a dinosaur bone that's rare, I'm just going to keep it. The last thing I want is somebody marching into my front room declaring prima nocta on that thing and taking it.
The one, the only, Hans Olsen. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know, you've had some moments over the last 12 years.
One or two.
Prima nocta. That'll always be my favorite. Well, one of the
know
favorites.
what that means.
I do now. Every time I hear that sounder now, I get sweaty, like, oh, here we go.
We're going to have a meeting.
Hans Olsen is leaving radio after 20 years. I'm like, here comes embarrassment.
Here it comes. Here we go.
Laughter. Here comes some laughter and some memories.
Some great memories.
Lloyd,
A little stroll down memory lane.
you've outdone yourself, Lloyd. Hey, look who it is. Come in here, Dave.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, JJ and Alex.
Hold on. I want to say hi to Dave here. There's Dave Nellis.
What's up, Dave?
America First Credit Union. One of our great sponsors coming in to say goodbye. Jump on that mic real quick. Dave, how are you, brother? How was the drive?
The drive was good. We got here just in time.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. It's good to see your smiling face.
It's great to see you, too.
I don't know if you know Scotty, but Dave is a bit of a TV superstar.
No.
No, no,
We all
I'm very
saw
well
your
aware of
commercial
this.
on
Yeah.
the conference finals. It was good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Well, yeah, it's
mean-
it's nice to be able to be a voice and a face of an organization. We love working with you guys. We love the partnerships, and I think that's what makes our community strong is those good partnerships between us and everybody else. Magic happens.
You had a better performance than the Broncos quarterback. So well done by you.
Yeah, I just stubbed my toe. He went a little farther than that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I'll miss the most, Dave. Thanks for coming up. brother.
Yeah, love you too.
Yep.
Hans and
absolutely.
Scotty, JJ and Alex coming up next right here on The Zone.